I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do this video outside today, and I'm so happy that I can as we celebrate the spring equinox here in the Northeast, in the Northern Hemisphere. I've been really looking forward to this video because it's been a long winter in upstate New York, and the grass in my backyard is finally visible. You can see it slightly behind me there. But this is a really wonderful season of turning and seeing the changes in our lives that maybe for some time have been difficult to really claim or visualize, changes in our relationships, in our careers, in our lives as women, as working career women, as women raising children and being caretakers for others. This can be an especially meaningful season of just letting our bodies breathe, letting ourselves have space and a little bit more feeling of autonomy around the many responsibilities that we hold in our lives. I would love to share today my favorite part of this spring equinox season, which is the tradition of the goddess Ostara or Ostara. I've shared this in previous years around this time, but I always like to share the legend of really the Easter bunny and how that became part of the Christian celebration of Easter, because Easter itself was really based on a pre-Christian celebration of the spring equinox, and the communities that honored the goddess Ostara had such a established practice of belief and ritual around her that when the Christianizing that took place for centuries was trying to sort of convert local communities to that belief system, it was almost impossible to shift people away from that Ostara or Estra tradition, which is why the word Easter maintains so much of that linguistic basis of Estra or Ostara. It was really a political strategy to maintain that language because, again, it was so established, so widespread, and accepted as the central ritual focal point of this spring equinox changing of the seasons. So for people in agricultural communities, it was a celebration of life, having survived the winter, sort of this life or death realization that one had gotten through the darkest, hardest season. And the tradition of the Easter Bunny, which I think has become so commercialized, it really has beautiful agrarian, nature-centered roots, because legend has it that the goddess Ostara transformed a sick bird, a broken bird who had I think a broken wing at the end of winter, who would not have been able to survive. She transformed her into a rabbit to survive the rest of the winter. And then come spring, the rabbit began to lay eggs because, of course, she was originally a bird, and presented those eggs as a gift of gratitude toward the goddess Ostara. So if you're transitioning out of organized religion and Christianity, as I am, having been a former clergy, and looking for ways to maintain some of those traditions and rituals, but really through a more divine feminine basis, one that is more nature-centered and earth-centered, this is a really beautiful way to sort of blend those traditions in a way that holds true the original foundation of that imagery of the bunny bringing eggs. And it was especially meaningful for me this year because of this notion of a past life coming through and kind of bringing a sense of newness and freshness to a next chapter in life. So if you think of that tradition of the broken bird who then is turned into a rabbit, that past life came through into the future with this rabbit laying eggs. And there was a very powerful experience for me a couple weeks ago in learning about a past life. I went to a beautiful women's kind of holistic gathering at a wonderful place called the Grounded Ginger near my hometown. I'll link the information to that below. And the owner, Stacy Kozak, just graciously invited several women into her barn where she makes sort of all natural creams and lotions and teas, and we did some crafting together with this group, and then did a meditation session on the upstairs of her barn loft. And during the meditation session, she came around to each individual woman. There were about 11 of us, and she got a sense of whether there was a message coming through. she has a really beautiful capacity to receive messages from people, not even touching them, but just kind of the energy around that person. And after the session, she asked who was comfortable with her sharing what she had received or what came through. And she had with me what she calls a past life glimmering, or a past life glimmer. And when she mentioned that, my ears perked up. I was very interested. I have always felt that I've had some affinity to a past particular era, in fact, and when she said the dates specifically, which were between 1780 and 1803 about, I resonated deeply with that, and she said that she had gotten the sense that I was a village healer in a previous life. And I felt so akin to what she shared. She shared that I brought a basket from door to door in the village, asked people to give me what they no longer needed, what no longer served them, and not so much in a material sense, in terms of, old items that they no longer needed, but really emotional realities and experiences that were no longer serving them, that were then placed in the basket, and that I somehow was able to let go of. So it was kind of a container for people to put those either toxic experiences, relationships, unwanted narratives, harmful narratives of self in this basket. And I felt that reinforced so much of the work that I do with women now as a leadership coach for empathetic, purpose-driven women, in particular those who are coming out of toxic relational systems or workplace dynamics. It's very much what I did as a clergy and also as a trauma therapist earlier in my career. And I find that now in this work that I do, it's not so much that I absorb the experiences or emotions or toxicity that people are wanting to let go of, because I know that I also need to take care of myself in this work as well. So I no longer absorb that, but I am a kind of conduit through which people sharing with me and me helping reframe narratives with people, that they're able to then let go of them. And we're both freed from those narratives. So it was such a affirming and edifying observation that Stacey had, one that I'm so grateful for the work that she does. And I think it just reinforced why I do this work, that I'm able to meet people where they are, sort of come to their door in the village, carrying this basket that says, I can help you reframe narratives that have been harming you. Ways of being, ways of relating to people, ways of serving others, people who have a deep sense of servant leadership that can be harmful, and really helping women in particular, those who are empathetic themselves, purpose-driven women, rewrite those harmful narratives. Especially during this season of the spring equinox, when things around us are shifting and transforming and taking new shape, that we can take aspects of our life, perhaps that we have lost touch with, either a past life or past eras of our life, and bring forward those things that are most meaningful to us and that can serve us really well in the next chapter in our life. So I wish you spring blessings on this spring equinox, and wish you well as you maybe recapture elements of self, and as we celebrate the Goddess Ostara, the Goddess Ostara, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.